I guess just for starters, for you, that first game didn't go your guys' way, but Pete DeBoer said that was your guys' best game in a few weeks. Just where are you guys at in this run?
Yeah, I think it's just one game, and I think there were some good things, especially defensively. I think we defended pretty well. Obviously they earned a couple of bounces in the first two goals, and that's how it goes sometimes, But I think defensively we gotta keep doing what we did, try to break out well and stay inside all the time. I think offensively we can do a little bit more, try to get more inside and put some pressure on their D. They're obviously a very mobile D, so try to stay on top of them a little bit more.
Some shots they were shown on the broadcast of you and Kale mixing it up, you and G. Was it fun to compete against you guys at that intensity?
Yeah, for sure. It's different now, for sure. But good friends off the ice. But I think now for next, however it takes this series, we're obviously enemies, so we compete hard, and everybody in that team competes hard, and we try to do the same, and we will. So it's fun. It's fun to compete in these games when every little detail matters.
Has it been easier or harder than you thought to go up against it? Has it mattered once the puck drops?
Well, yeah, it's obviously, it was a second game against their old team, and but yeah, I think it's getting easier and easier. I think the first one is now out of the way, and I just gotta focus on try to play well individually, help the team offensively and defensively. Try to play responsible and. But it's competing against those guys. They're hard competitors. All the guys I know from there, so I'll try to do the same.
Have you been keeping up with Gabe's progress and playing in the AHL?
Yeah. I was happy to see him play there. I watched his first game. He looked good out there. So I talked with him after the game, and I was really happy for him. Obviously, it's been a grind for him, and he's a good friend of mine. So I was happy to see him back on the ice.
Is it a tough thing where you're like, I would love to see him come back? Maybe not against us, though.
Yeah, he's a really good player. So when he comes back, we gotta be ready for him, and obviously adjust our game, because he's even though he missed a lot of time, he's still a veteran guy with a lot of experience. So whenever he plays, we gotta be ready.
Can you imagine the difficulty of the journey he's been on? How does that strike you? I mean, that's a long time to try to get back.
Yeah, it is, and that's why I was so happy to see him back on the ice and play in a competitive game. And he's done so much work last 3 years, almost 3 years, to come back, and it's been ups and downs and disappointments and excitement, and then back to disappointment. And so to see him now do well and be back on the ice, I'm happy for him.
There was so much uncertainty when you were in Raleigh, right? Donations, there were all the pressure and everything. Has it been easier to settle here? When you signed the contract?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think the contract is over. The talk, and this is going to be the home for a long time now, and I think that made it easier to adjust, and like I said, the trade to Carolina was the surprise. So then you're kind of adjusting, and Four Nations, I didn't spend a lot of time there, but yeah, I think the contract helped with that.
When did you feel like you were back in control of your hockey life? And maybe that's the wrong way for me to put it, but you certainly rode the wave of emotions for a while. And when were you able to say, all right, I know what's going on now, I know what my future is going to be, that kind of stuff?
Well, I think it was when I came here, when you have a long contract, and that's when you kind of can settle in. You don't have to think about anymore where you're gonna be and what's gonna happen, and so I think the day I got here there was more settlement mentally, for sure. It was easier for sure.
How difficult was that lack of settlement, or was it?
Which one, sorry?
how difficult was the lack of settlement or the uncertainty? Was that?
Yeah, I think it's not easy in anybody's life if there's uncertainty. Even if you're a hockey player or football player or plumber or rider, if there's uncertainty, I think it's always hard mentally. So I think it goes hand in hand to everybody's life.
How eager are you to move on from this whole kind of story of this season and just become a regular Dallas?
Yeah, I think it's kind of it takes time, and now it's still the same season that I've been moved a couple times, and I understand the talk around it. But I think after time, there's gonna be new news and new stuff to talk about. So I think the time is the key in that one.
You had time to like shop for a house and all that, figure out where you're going to live and all that?
Yeah, it's a little bit harder when the games are going so every other day almost in playoffs. So I found a place to stay for the rest of the season, and then try to figure out maybe this summer or before next season what to do next year.
So as you were asked this already, Matthew Shane talked about how he's someone that has often have you talked to him at all about this experience and playing Colorado and all that?
Not really, no. A little bit maybe. The first game we were in Colorado, maybe, but he told me something. But I think it's everybody's a little different how they handle things, and but he's been. It's good to know he's there if I need ever anything, But I obviously have family, friends to lean on to, but yeah, it's good to have him in the same team.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
What was your biggest takeaway from Game 1, and just kind of what are you trying to replicate? What are you trying to improve?
I mean, the intensity we played with, I feel like was great, and I feel like in playoffs you try to play defense first, and I feel like we didn't give up that much, and whatever we gave up, Blackie was unbelievable. So I feel like we can create a little more on the offense. It's good that we got the power play goal there. PK was pretty solid. Obviously, special teams are huge, and just repeat this, and it'll be fun.
There was a lot of talk about Mackenzie Blackwood not having postseason experience. Just what does that type of performance do for a team's confidence?
I mean, he's a gamer. You can see it on him, and the way he played in the first game, I don't think anybody was worried before, and now that we see this, there's a lot of confidence in him, and both goalies are great. So I mean, that's huge, and just for us, try to limit their chances and play our best.
What did you learn about Dallas in particular to be careful of?
Obviously, they get a couple really fast players that can score the rush. Obviously, he's one of the fastest guys, so you gotta kind of know where he is on the ice and look for him when he's building his speed, and then just they play steady hockey. On the breakouts, they don't try to make many plays. They try to get it out. Simple game, and we just when we're all over them, it's tough.
You had a couple of big hits. How is physicality a driver of success for you?
Obviously, it's more hitting and stuff. I feel like last kind of 10 games in the regular season, you just kind of not cruise, but we don't play the same intensity like right now, and you have all the juices to go out there and finish checks and stuff like that. So kind of brings you in the game, and you can continue doing that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's mental toughness at its finest. I mean, he had multiple times where I'm sure he wanted to pull the plug and didn't think it was getting better and stuck with it. And I know he wanted to do it for the team and his family and for himself, just to prove that someone could come back from that injury. And at some point, every surgery is the first of its kind. So I think maybe he's paving the way for guys down the road that have this injury to see that Gabe Landeskog did it, and so could I. So I'm proud of him. He's done a ton of work that no one saw, and just the epitome of class and mental toughness and grit and determination and all those words that come from a great success story like his.
I don't know if anyone's had a situation like his, but if you come back, you had a game where there was just so much leading up to it that you almost had to, focusing during the game.
As far as him coming back?
Yeah, have you ever had a moment like that where it's almost hard to play the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I first got back here, after being gone for a year and a half, and you're just like, wow, I can't believe I'm back playing. I'm sure he's going to feel like that when he's back, just like pinching himself that he's even in this position. Because, like I mentioned, he's probably had so many days where he's thinking to himself, I'm not going to be able to do this. And now he's on the cusp of potentially making a return for us here in the next few games. We'll see. But to be in this position now is remarkable.
Wrap it up there, please.
Thank you, sir.
What do you feel like you guys as a team, did well? What are you trying to replicate? What are you trying to improve on?
Yeah, our D zone was good. I think they're a really good rush team, so got to limit them on those, and then get a little bit better in the down low offense.
There's been obviously a lot of focus on Landeskog. Just it's probably both exciting, but is that also maybe a little bit of a distraction, just given kind of the unknown with it?
Nope, not a distraction. Just really exciting having him in the locker room and being around him.
What can you say about the journey that he's been on and just witnessing what he's been going through here?
Yeah, really impressive. I think it speaks to the person he is, his character, and really cool to see. And I think it's a great story for everyone.
There was a lot of focus on the outside. It's been made pretty clear by everybody I've asked about this inside. There was no doubts about Mackenzie Blackwood, but he didn't have any postseason experience. What does that type of performance do for a team's confidence?
Yeah, he's an awesome goalie. He's been, since I've gotten here, since I got traded here, he's been unbelievable. So it's kind of what I expected, and it was great to see him play to his ability.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.